I went and did my dog walk, and I always, when I do my dog walk, I like to communicate with my Facebook family, which is like, I don't know, close to 7,000 now. And then I have my little groups and stuff, but I'm over there, anywho. And there's just a lot of stuff going on in TikTok, and a lot of TikTok people have Facebook and Instagram. And the problem with all that is I'm on all the platforms. I like them all. I do like TikTok, and I was waiting for a live button, but I don't know if it'll ever make it there. They say Facebook might be taking over TikTok. I don't know. But it is one over there said, let's just try to make it a better place so whatever happens, they might not put so much rules on Facebook. There's a lot already. There's so many rules. You could break a rule and not even know you broke one. But I do like my groups. My ones I personally created that are my Chong. And you can notice it over there. I keep the same label as I do over here, Chong the dog, but I don't say Chong the dog, I just say Chong. I got two, one, my main group that a lot of my, I did with my friends and started, and then it just kind of became a thing. That's my main group with a capital C and then Chong. Then I got Chong's picture. Then I got so popular, I had to do something because some of my friends in the group don't like to see certain posts that are, I don't know, offensive and different stuff or sarcastic or whatever. So I had to do two Chong Gothic groups. And then I realized there's some of these really cute things with people's kids that maybe I should be doing that too. So I just made a Chong family group. I know it's Chong family style group. And I did a really cool, I love doing editing. I love editing. I became an editing addict when I was on Facebook because I wanted to get reel of the week, but I never did. I mean, there's a possibility I'll get reel of the week. Still trying, but sometimes you gotta go through a lot of stuff. You just gotta find that perfect video, and I am every week. Every week, I literally try to get this perfect reel, and it goes on like that for a while I'm over there, because I'm trying to just to create this beautiful picture in my head, and I have a lot of editing apps, a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I spend way too much money in editing apps. Like they'll say $5 or $10, and I save a lot of money because I live stream most of the time. I just live stream for an hour before I came back here. Then I'll read this chapter, and then I figure I got two streams over here for today, and then I'll probably have to do an Instagram stream so at some point today because I gotta get ahead on this yard project because I want to have it when I come over with you guys where it's somewhat put together and not looking like, oh my god, we gotta knit for 20 hours before she finished this middle piece. So I'm finishing the middle piece on my brother's tablecloth thing for his kitchen table because he wants matching mats, and he's getting spoiled with all this. And then he told me you can make a blanket if I knitted long enough for a week. In a week I could do a whole blanket. I looked at him like, oh my god, what are you smoking? Because nobody is knitting an entire blanket in a week. And I want the person that can, they got to be the most talented person in the world because it's a lot. It's something that is over time. That's why I do smaller projects. But I should have that together enough to where I could do a video on it and then maybe bullshit a little bit. afterwards. Because I don't know. A lot of times when I'm on Facebook, it's it goes by the minutes that you're on, and I feel it's not a very good stream if you didn't have a full former conversation with somebody. Honestly, I know that sounds crazy, but and then there's so many different live streaming methods. It's enough to blow your mind. Because I go that extra step. When I was starting to live stream, there's conversational live streaming, that political live streaming. OMG, that's a lot. Those people need a standing ovation over there in political streaming. Because honestly, that was when I was studying up on live streaming going on Facebook all the time, since I have my own little account over there. I have my own little universe over there on Chong. It's fun though. I have a lot of people over there, and they say writers need a following. And I wasn't sure how much of a following I would get over here, honestly. Just being a writer and an editor. This is mainly what I am at my core. I enjoy writing things. I put my glasses on now. Do I know this person? I don't know about an attorney. Video drafting. I don't know about all that. I just want to get video of the week on Facebook. That's really all I want to do. I have such a basic life. And I do have my medical marijuana card, so I take my little anxiety weed to calm me down, and then I stream. That's just a lot. But hello. I'm not very good at this kind of streaming at all. I'm used to like something different. And I struggled through this on Facebook, and I guess it was a little bit more complicated when you have people asking you to take off your top or things like that. And it just ended up where I had to come up with different streams. I had to literally do a lot of informative streams, like when I was knitting and things like that, because they would get your stream shut down. And I guess I never got the hang of conversational live stream. I mean, I always have this agenda because I'll have all of my materials together, what I'm going to read, how all the playlists I put in perfect little order. And then I go on Facebook and I find out that everybody wants to remove their Facebook page because of TikTok. It was a lot of one day because all my friends are there and I really like my groups over there. I wish there was groups here. Facebook has the best groups. All right, let me put my glasses back on. I don't like having these on all the time. Oh, I met the perverts on Facebook. I was literally on a live stream because when I come up here, I have to literally go on Facebook. And since I have four groups on Facebook, they flirt with you and they say the most outrageous things when you're streaming, or let's do the what's up app or some crazy stuff. And I honestly, I don't want to do no damn what's up app. These are the people that will literally have your bank account seized and drained. They're like the best scammers. But they'll flirt with you mercilessly while you're live streaming. So I was sitting there, they brought, I mean, I was talking, I live streamed for about, I don't know, about an hour. And my stream got resumed and paused because this guy would not leave me alone. He won't. He just kept going and going. And finally, I just said, I go, I think you can hear me. Stop calling me. I don't talk to strange men. But it actually, at some point, gave me good content. And I don't know how that was. But if they're going to interrupt my stream while I'm just addressing my little groups, I'm going to defend myself. So I did. And somehow, when I defend myself over there, they won't take down my streams, which is good. And I was doing really good, almost making money. And then they started with these crazy rules. They have a lot of rules. They have the rules that you wouldn't think shouldn't be a rule. They're over there. But then you see people that are posting God knows what, and you see a lot of naked. But you'll get, oh, like, there'll be one little rule that you didn't, that you broke, and that person's fine, and you did something innocent, and they'll nail you to the wall over there. But after a year, I got to liking it. No, I never would take my top off, ever. That would not ever happen. So, and this is why I don't, that's why I started doing informative streaming. Why I'm do like little book readings and different things. I'd like to do activities because when I'm on YouTube, that's what I'd like to listen to. I like to see the informative people, but I do like that guy Don Pratt on TikTok. He's the get f. I don't know if you're allowed to say the f word around here, but they get f carrot, and he's white and he has a Mexican wife, and he lives in this, I guess, this neighborhood, and they have real nice houses. So I want to say a well-to-do neighborhood, and this lady, she's a Karen, will mess with his family all the time. So he had all these shirts, get effed carrot, and then they're so crazy looking, and they'll have just real graphic little pictures of all this stuff. And he makes so much money over there, but he's so funny. I love it. And his kids are just belligerent like him. But like I said, with a lot of the TikTok people, I don't know why they hate Facebook so much. I like my groups, but I was dealing with that. Had this guy calling in my live stream trying to talk to my groups because when I make a group, I try to dress it when I need it. Like if my following gets bigger, I try to get another Chong group in there of a different theme. Because the one I have, there's no profanity and it's real strict, and it's pretty much all my work friends. The second group is the two Gothic groups are just for Facebook. They're just for the people that are my people. And I literally just share their stuff. And this Chong family style is like that too. Because I think it's helping my little peace movement over there. Right. Oh, that's why you got off Facebook. Well, you know what? I'm a creature of habit, and I love, if I'm somewhere, I'm not gonna leave just because it gets bad. I'm gonna fight back. I'm fighting. And I find it, I like to go over there, and my friends love it. but for somehow I'm protected over there. Probably because I report every bad post and I'm over there already doing other things. So I see things and I'm able to delete and report it right away. And there was some nasty post over there. And there was some crazy stuff happening. There was during the wartime when we were at war, these Russians they ended up sending me this stuff, the Russians, that all these pictures with their bombs. I tried to screenshot it and I was trying to put on my archive, and somehow the FBI got involved with my whole profile, every bit of it, and they thought I was helping out the enemy. And the thing is I'm a housewife and I work in medical, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, what the f? So this went on. They froze my page for like 48 hours. All these people with because I reported it right away. I thought it was weird. I had all these different followers, and a lot of them were military. Because somehow the military people flock to me over there, and it's okay. I'm fine with the military. But I guess I got the wrong military, and I thought they seemed like nice people. But they were the enemy. And I had a picture of their quadrant and all this, and I was trying. So then I was like, I was proud of that I did. And then Facebook got mad at me, and I think it was my following and my friends that cut me up because I used to. I broke a lot of rules before. That's how I know the rules because I broke, I think, every one of them. And this is how me and Facebook don't get along. And then I fix it by not doing that no more. But then I break another rule as I do that. So now I don't share any political posts because apparently it was really bad. So that started my adventure on Facebook. And then after that, after the whole entire war thing, there was a video. I don't know how it got sent to me, but I reported it at 1 o'clock in the morning of just some horrible sexual acts going on, and the girls looked younger. So I reported it right away, and they said thank you for reporting it, and then it got in trouble or something. And you get these messages and stuff that you did good, and sometimes like a lot of things will pop up, but it's been an adventure over there, and Facebook is. I can be very confusing when you're on. I think it's easier if you're on the digital creator end because it gives you a cool title, and then you get check marks where they'll verify you over there. So if your main hub stuff is over there, you're verified. So because they're very big on this check mark. Oh, they're so big on the check mark because that's how you know if it's a fake profile or not. And it took me, I don't know, about a year to get it because they got to make sure the people have the check marks are people they like. So I guess all the work I put into it, I try to maintain it because it was a lot of work for about a year and a half, 2 years. I'm trying to make it better, and I'm eventually probably make money again on Facebook, but I don't really care either way. I like my groups. As bad as this sounds, sometimes that's what you're faced with in life. So, but let me see if you have any more comments. You just like to talk to people. I don't know. I talk to so many people, I guess. Sometimes those kind of needs really don't come across to me because I talk, I guess, too much to people, or people hunt me down and talk to me. It's either my friends, my mother in law, my dog. I get hunted every day. You'd probably be a good live streamer if you like to talk to people a lot. I mean, I think it's fun. And you get freedom, and it's an outlet, and it's a clean activity. I mean, as long as you're not doing strange things like murdering people on camera or just being creepy in general, because you don't want to do one of these videos that there's like horrible murders going on, because then you get a bad name. You don't want a bad name. When I was over on Facebook, there was people that started out live streaming with me, and they were doing crazy things. I didn't say nothing because I know where my lane is and what their lane was. And some of them just went off all over to the curbside and did all the stuff too soon. And they're not as popular now. Like a lot of them, they started the weed smoking streams where my friend live going over there. That he pretty much, yeah, he's a ladies' man and he's smoking and drinking. But how far does that get you? You have to be doing something interesting or find something people would like to do. That's what I have found. And I feel those live streamers, they go farther. Like that guy I'm talking about on TikTok, Don Pratt. I love him with his Mexican wife and his kid. They always have something going on because they're funny and they just have a dynamic where it's always going to be some kind of funny, and something like that you want to promote yourself with. You do not want to promote yourself with a bad image before you even start. So I just kept it low and slow, and I love my dog, and I just, if I made it, I made it. If I didn't, I didn't. It's, if you're having fun, I guess that's all that matters, because you'll meet people here and there. But I was always concerned about keeping my check mark all the time. And I would keep my check mark all the time. And everybody's like, why you worry about your check mark? And this is why. Because now I'm on YouTube, and if I want to share something from over here to there or whatever, I can. Because I've had my check mark for like a year now. And some of my friends, they never really tried to work for their check mark, and I don't know. They do okay, but they only have, some of them only have one like button. So I don't know. Because you got to get all these different. I had to get, I think I had to get 1,000 followers on Facebook, and then Instagram. I think I just was open because of Facebook. Over here, I never had a live button until recently. I think the last month or two. I thought this would be the last platform that I was even able to live stream on. Because I never got my TikTok button. You would have thought I would have got that before over here. But I guess life is what life is gonna give you is gonna give you, even if you least expect it. I want to say here. TT Walker on. How's your dog? Oh, he's good. I'll put the camera over by him. I don't want to take this thing out of my box. There he is. Over here, passed out. We literally went on a walk. Oh, there he goes. I gave him the whole living room, pretty much. Yeah, he's a black lab. He waits. Oh, I know what you meant. But yeah, he's my baby. He's my service dog. I actually did that. I got him through COVID since he was a rescue and all. They got a lot of rescue dogs through COVID you can get. I mean, I qualified for service dogs, so I've heard he's gonna be 2 on April 1st. So we're both Aries, me and Chong. Since my birthday's April 16th, so it kind of worked out. Sometimes you never know what you're gonna get in life. That's what I've always found out in my life. I never thought I'd have a dog, honestly. I used to have dogs when I was younger, but they were family dogs. I never really had a dog of my own except for one Cocker Spaniel. That did, so I guess he's my second dog, but my dad helped me. With Chong, it was different. I had to research foods and all kinds of stuff. He went to a trainer for a little bit. I pretty much adapted my house so he has plenty of room to run around since I live in an apartment. So it's been a lot. But now we're at a good place, and then you realize stuff you need to throw away anyways. But I have all my art supplies in our bigger cage because he don't need to be in a cage anymore. But I like it because he likes to chew my yarn, and he always chews my yarn. He is very, I don't know. I don't know what you can say. It is what it is. Yeah, I didn't think a dog would like yarn so much. He don't bother nothing else in the house no more, just the yarn. So I lock it up in his cage, in the older cage I got, and I really never use, and it kind of works out for storage really good. And then you lock it, and all the stuff that you really wanted, you pretty much, and you don't want no one to touch, it's there. Especially when you have animals. I mean, I put blankets around it, so you really can't tell it's a dog cage. And then you can make a little table on top. 'Cause I don't like clutter. I am not a creature of clutter at all. So that's how I move about my life. And I'm not big on fancy things either, honestly. I don't. I'm not. I do like my crystals. I love crystals. Love them. That's why I do a lot of crystal work. Because I was doing a bunch of it. I think I did some over here. Some of my videos are on crystals. I got, yeah, the one I was doing my crystals, and I have them sage. Maybe I'll like do a crystal hour and just like put like some crystal stuff together. But I do enjoy making that, doing that stuff. I like the essential oils and everything, but I was just giving that a break because knitting is a lot of fun. And you can always use, because I still want to knit those curtains. because I found hooks that you use it for bathroom curtains, and I think that would look really good in an area, an apartment, if you had it doing that with those kind of like the links, and then you wouldn't have to worry about anything. But yeah, this is how my brain never stops moving. This is what I think of as these little things. But I'm gonna start. I'm gonna read chapter 2 of this book, and then probably after that, I'm gonna eat. Probably smoke a bowl, and then pass out for a little bit and take a nap. That's probably my little days there. And then I'm gonna try to do Instagram today at some point because I don't really have. I could be knitting the middle part of the project for over here on Instagram while the music's going because it seems they really don't care about the music and I don't really get any copyrights or anything when you're live streaming over there. Because sometimes I'm listening to music, I'm listening to YouTube in the background, and it seems okay for Instagram. So, oh, you got 2 labs? Oh, okay. And you got 2 black labs. Oh no, I don't live alone. I'm married. He's just my husband works 6 days a week. How are you doing mentally? Oh, I'm okay. I am tired. I work a lot. I work a horrendous amount of hours all the time. I work in the house. I'm always cleaning, and then I work in medical. And medical is very. I get up every day at like 4:30 in the morning for work, and then on my days off, I usually sleep. But I mean, it pays all the bills. So what are you gonna do? It is what it is. That's the way life is. And my husband, he's a chef over at the restaurant. So I'm not a cook. I write and I pretty much write and I do my little stuff. I do my arts and crafts on my spare time 'cause I like to keep busy. Sometimes in life it's good to keep busy. And then I got Chong. I don't know if I can handle 2 labs. It's a lot. I just picked him up and they're very energetic and they're always on the hunt for something. They always find things. He finds things all the time. I don't even know how he finds them. He just sniffs them out. We will be somewhere and he's just sniffing whatever out. He has the best nose I have ever seen in a damn dog. We had German Shepherds, but those have good noses too. But yeah, I'm okay. I am tired and I'm a little high now too. Sometimes I smoke a bowl before I come on stream, so because I have really bad anxiety. So, and in my spare time, I like to read. So I'm gonna read. I don't know if you guys were on my other stream, but I was reading about Daisy over here with Weekends with Daisy, and it was really good. I started crying in the last one. It was so sad. I mean, they're real short chapters, so I figured. I mean, she had to give up her dog pretty much. And the other chapter, well, no, her dog died. I'm sorry. And then I started crying on stream. It was so sad. And then after her dog died, she was after a while she wanted her husband didn't want they didn't want to take on another dog, so it was like foster families for service dogs. And I guess they had the prisoners with the service dogs were helping to train them, and they would have weekend foster parents. So it's a true story about this dog that helps her. I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but and it was very emotional, the first one. I mean, I was literally could not stop crying. It was just so damn heart pouring. And it's actually a nice story, not one of these crazy ones. I don't like those crazy stories. I don't like to hear about animals getting mistreated and stuff. I don't like reading them because it upsets me. I truly don't know why people do that. But that's why I kind of picked this book to read because I thought it was nice, but it was with how the prisoners, that do really good. It's this needs program, and the prisoners, like, they'll have where they could be in their own cell with their dog. They got this dog in there with their cell, and anyways, and but they're able to go out to the yard and bring them back, so they got a little more privileges. And I want to say maybe I don't know, maybe those guys were like going home soon or whatever, but they were training these dogs for the people that need them. They have autism and different conditions, and the lady volunteered. So she's a foster dog parent, and then she had this a poodle, and the black poodle she had for the first dog, I guess, didn't work out. But this would be the second dog she fosters. And it's a true life story. Like, somebody ends up breaking in her house and stuff. But this is chapter 2 of Day Weekends with Daisy, and it's not even that long of a chapter. It said, I could not have thrown up. That's how nervous I was about going into prison to meet Daisy for the first time. You know that feeling when you're getting ready for your first date or going to a job interview? The sensation of excitement spiked with dread, like someone has injected ginger ale to your central nervous system. Well, that sickly brew had worked its way down to my knees and up to my throat by the time I pulled into the parking lot. JJ Morin, I swallowed it and stepped out of my car. Everything felt new and off kilter. Labor Day just had passed. It was the start of a new school year. I hadn't been to the prison for nearly a month, not since I returned Jones for the final time. I calmed myself by noting what was familiar. There was that faded cutout of a cartoon police officer leaning awkwardly against a tree. The parking lot heresy was still evident. Lots of empty spaces up front marked in descending order by rank. Warden was the closest to the front entrance, lieutenant furthest away. Other spots were taken up by gleaming F Series Ford pickups and Dodge Rams, all parked at angles to keep the battered Nissans and Saturns that belonged to the inmates visitors from running from ruining their paint jobs. I picked my way towards the building, shrugging a denim shirt over my tank top. The day had been blazing hot, and though it was close to 6 in the evening, the temperature hadn't dropped below 90 degrees. The fabric felt like a horse blanket on my skin, but during the orientation, somebody had mentioned there was a dress code for visitors, and I didn't want to take the chance of inciting a prison riot with my bare shoulders. Visiting hours were in session this time, and a cluster of people stood in front of the reception desk waiting their turn to sign in. Others sat against the wall in gray molded plastic chairs. I squeezed through the crowd and picked up the counter, feeling uneasily conspicuous. What happened? I don't know. That someone flared out. Oh, I must have got a message. Uneasily conspicuous at the same time, for just a little bit worried that somebody might mistake me for the kind of person who would know someone in prison. I attempted to catch the eye of the skinny gray-haired guard, the one who had shook his head and laughed at Jones's name. For the first time I was there. Finally he looked out at me, a pencil poised over a log. When you hear what who are you here for? He didn't recognize me. She's a dog, Daisy. The guard grabbed the phone. Canine Daisy to the brass's office, he said into it, gesturing. This was so weird to get a service dog from a prison. That's why I was so intrigued by this book. But it's supposed to be a real thing. This actually happened in New York. I was very shocked. Right. Behind him, towards the red metal door, go right ahead, dear. I stepped past a younger guard whose clean shaving head caught the reflection of the overhead light. He was watching a toddler struggling to pull the tiny pockets of her jeans inside out to show him they were empty. Her mother stood nearby with a bored expression on her face. I could feel her eyes on me and hated myself a tiny bit for feeling smug that I didn't have to empty my pockets or walk through the metal detector. While I waited for the first door to buzz, signaling me to push it open, a clutch of visitors gathered behind me. They followed me through, and we started in silence at the handle of the second door, willing it to unlock. When it did, we stepped outside and walked towards the sliding metal gates. A sign warned no weapons beyond this point. An older woman was saying something in Portuguese to a young girl, her granddaughter. Probably. The girl's eyes grew wide as her gaze climbed the towering chain link fences that encircled us. The woman had lowered her voice to a whisper, and the rest of us instinctively bent towards her to listen. Suddenly, the woman flung her arms and head back and jerked her body wildly as if she were being electrocuted. We all jumped except for the older woman, who grabbed her knees and laughed. I knew the gates weren't electrified. You know what's funny? This writer is really good at foreshadowing. She really is. The Sharon Kahn Luttrell, it's on there because they really are. You really feel like you're there. Some of these books I'm reading, you can't really feel like you're there, but this is. She really brings it in her writing. I really like this author. Okay, but apparently the little girl didn't because she clutched so tightly to her grandmother's hand that she nearly toppled the woman as the second gate shuttered open and we stepped through. Our small group stepped into the building while others continued straight to the visitors' door. I broke off and walked past the soda machine toward shift command. The door slid open and I stepped in, peering through what looked like a bank teller's window until I spotted the correctional officer inside. I lifted my hand to him and he waved back. We both watched the door slide shut. One more door between me and the puppy whose face I had memorized from the 16,000 times I opened the email containing her picture. This much I know about Daisy. She came from Guiding Eyes for the Blind, a New York nonprofit that breeds and trains dogs for seeing eye work. She had been born 3.5 months earlier on May 18th. When she was 7 weeks old, a Guiding Eyes staff member plucked her and each of her siblings from their litter and introduced them at a time to various distractions. Daisy was placed alone in a pen where she met an animated robot and saw the toy bat circling overhead. A can of paper clips was dropped beside her. She walked on the paper, it crinkled underfoot, and was allowed to investigate a small animal. So you get the insider stuff on how these guys are actually being trained too. That's why I actually like this book. A small animal cage containing anchovy paste. An adult dog was brought in to say hello to Daisy, and all the while an answer took careful note of Daisy's breathing rate and the angle of her ears, then set the set of her mouth and position of her tail. The test was repeated with a human alongside Daisy, finally with the human using food as a lure to refocus and guide her through a series of distractions. I'm not sure how Daisy's littermates rated, but she was deemed too reliant on the human for seeing eye work and she was passed over by Guiding Eyes program. Guiding Eyes dogs must be obedient but capable of making decisions on behalf of their humans. A Guiding Eyes dog will stop his owner from stepping off the curb in front of an oncoming bus. The ideal needs dog, on the other hand, would happily accompany his owner under the bus if he thought it was what the owner wanted. In other words, Guiding Eyes looks for dogs who are leaders. Needs wants loyal followers. Needs loves guiding dogs rejects because they're expertly bred for confidence and submissive traits. Some 70 to 80% of guiding dogs breed dogs who enter the needs program and graduate as service dogs and are placed with clients and are compared to 13 to 20% rate for dogs from other breeders. Daisy was 8 weeks old when she arrived at Needs Early Learning Center and met Cindy. It was very interesting. I didn't know this. I guess she got valuable training, so they're not gonna let her go. Oh man. Whew. All right. All right, Lopez and Cindy Ryan. The Cindy's oversee the puppies, and with their crate, their cadaver of volunteers take them on trips into town, on visits to nursing homes and schools, and sometimes to stores. Some 80 puppies go through the puppy house each year. Both with Cindy's recall, Daisy was special, and not just because she bolted out the door. When they were leading the puppies to the play yard one day and headed for the busy road nearby, fortunately, she paused to investigate the pavement under the van parked in the drive, and Cindy Ryan was able to scoop her out and carry her to safety. After that, Needs installed a double gate system, much like the one in the prison, only manual. Despite nearly giving Cindy's a heart attack, Daisy had a sweetness to her that was obvious. Chong! Chong! Stop! Chong! Chong! Get off of there! Thank you. And then they are moved into the main room where they're exposed to everyday life, sound of traffic on the road, outside, people coming in and out, phones ringing, oral and non sequiturs flout from the speakers of a CD player, a cow moving, followed by a blender, followed by a car horn, followed by a vacuum cleaner, and then 5 minutes of a whistling tea kettle, and then a lawnmower to survive in the place as a human. That's a lot for a dog. It really is. A human, you have to learn how to tune out the sounds. Though getting to hang out with adorable, playful puppies all day long is a pretty good distraction. The puppies get used to wearing the blue puppy and training vest, and they go outdoors in the play yard, a fenced in area outfitted like the playground at a daycare, with toddler sized plastic slides and climbing structures where the puppies practice walking up and down stairs and ramps to get a view of the world different from different heights. There are also pinwheels and dangling whirligigs and wind chimes. There's a half pipe that, depending on how it's positioned, can be a tunnel or a wobbly walking surface. And the ground is covered with rubber matting, metal grates, and other textures. Everything in the play area is there to help inure the pups to unusual sounds, movements, sights, and services. Not every prop or piece of equipment works out. However, Needs was forced to get rid of the fake feathered chickens it placed outside the play garden after finding them chewed up, presumably by a very disappointed fox. After about 4 weeks in the puppy house, the pups are sent to prison, which was what had happened to Daisy 2 weeks earlier. I can't wait for the final door to slide open all the way, so I squeezed through the sideways and followed the cinder block walls past Captain. Who would have known prison would be good for these dogs? It's amazing. All right. Okay, Lefebvre's office where he is talking on the phone. On the cramped vestibule that led to the prison yard, and I stopped short. There she was, an exquisite in her own simplicity, as the flower she was made for. Daisy sat next to her inmate, the top of her head barely reaching her knee. Her plush butterscotch fur blended with the tan in her suede work boots and khakis. A little sequel escaped me, but I clapped my hands over my mouth like a game show contestant who'd won a grand prize. Daisy rose slightly on her haunches, her tail stirring grit on the floor. Sit, the inmate holding her leash drew out the word in a steady, coaxing tone. I tore my eyes from Daisy. The inmate was about 6 feet tall, hard and lean in his buzz cut and in prison uniform, a stark contrast to Daisy's soft, rounded lines. He looked dangerous, like he belonged here. It's like she knows you, Captain, had appeared beside him. He must have been working a double shift to be there so late on a Friday. Yeah, you sure wouldn't have met. You're sure you haven't met already? The mate's low voice was low, rough, but leavened slightly with humor. He glanced at me and then ducked his head and looked down at the puppy. My mind jumped around for something clever to say, and I came up with nothing. Captain spoke again. Sharon, this is Keith, Daisy's handler. He waited while we mumbled hello to each other like two shy school kids meeting on the playground. Daisy was standing now, sniffing the floor, creeping closer to me. Keith guided her gently back to his side, and she plunked her bottom down hard into a sitting position. She's so obedient, I said to him. He shifted his weight and stood up a little straighter. Yeah, she's real smart. Picks up on commands real quick. I looked back at Daisy. Her tongue was hanging out with open mouth puppy smile. Keith began telling me how often to feed her and some other things I didn't hear. So captivated I was by the gorgeous puppy in front of me. The velvety muscle, the floppy ears, she could have been assembled in a toy factory. She was that perfect. Then Keith lifted his voice a few octaves, catching both my and Daisy's attention. Are you ready, girl? Yeah, and yes, I nearly blurted, and Daisy lifted her head towards him, waited for the next signal. He said, let's go, and walked her towards me, offering me the leash. I knelt on the floor and let Daisy scramble into my lap and lick my face. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Probably I should have acted in a more dignified manner, but the instant I set the leash, everything but Daisy melted away. I was in prison, but I was in heaven. Once my face was sufficiently kissed, I stood up. Keith's expression was hard to read, but Captain was smiling. He turned to Keith to ask whether there was anything I needed to know before I left with Daisy. No, just enjoy her. She's a great dog. His accent was thick Rhode Island. Keith had portioned out Daisy's meals for the weekend into 6 clear plastic bags, each rolled into a light cylinder and tucked neatly into a seventh bag. He handed the dog food to me along with bright yellow folder containing a report to fill out and return on Sunday. He gave Daisy a quick scratch behind the ears and turned to leave. Thank you, Captain, he said somewhat formally, and then he turned back to me as he reached for the door to the prison yard. Have a good weekend. He said it naturally as if I were a coworker leaving the office on a Friday afternoon. You, I called over my shoulders for I realized I was saying. I had no choice but to finish this sentiment too. One of the officers on duty glanced up from behind his desk and raised his eyebrows at me. Daisy raced ahead by the end of her leash, vacuuming the tile floor with her nose while I struggled to balance the paperwork with the package of food and alternated between chastising myself for wishing Keith a good weekend and trying to placate myself with possible scenarios in which it was entirely inappropriate sentiment. Maybe the prison served a special breakfast on Sunday morning. Perhaps his girlfriend would visit him. I wonder what was going through Keith's mind as he walked back to his cell. When an inmate gets a new puppy, they have 2 weeks of unbroken togetherness in order to form a close bond that will be the foundation of the dog's training. Only when the period is up does the puppy go on out for the weekend. Was Keith grateful for the break, envious of Daisy, who will have to leave prison while he was stuck there, thinking about the idiot puppy raiser who wished him a good weekend, worried that I messed up her training? If so, truth be told, he wasn't the only one. It was unnerving how willingly Daisy left Keith to go with me. I kind of wish she'd shown the tiniest bit of reluctance, made me prove to her that I was trustworthy, but all I needed to do was win her complete and utter faith was take possession of her leash. She had more confidence in me than I did in myself. At the final door back to reception area, I arranged my face into a blank expression and stepped past the crowd as though every day I walked the world's cutest puppy out of prison and into my car. The officer behind the desk was hunched over his computer keyboard signing in visitors, but the bigger, bald one turned to watch us walk by. Puppy coming through, he called out, and the line of visitors broke apart to allow us passage. Out in the parking lot, I was digging my car keys out of my pocket when a sturdy looking woman with a blunt haircut and glasses spotted us from a few rows away and called out, "This is a new one." She shrugged over and introduced herself as Bonnie, a fellow weekend puppy raiser. She asked permission to say hello to Daisy. Asking before greeting a dog is like a sailor permission to come aboard, a sign of respect. I was pleased with myself for remembering the command and told Daisy say hello even though she was already slamming her body against Bonnie's legs and jumping at her face. Bonnie's voice was stern as she told Daisy sit. The puppy obeyed, but her body quivered in anticipation of another kiss. And her tail swept an arc of a black top clean beneath her. Bonnie leaned down to pet Daisy, but her hand on Daisy's head was like a match to gasoline, igniting another explosive frenzy of licking and jumping. Bonnie sighed and stood up. Pointedly ignoring the dog, she gave me the abridged version of her history as a puppy raiser. She was on her sixth dog when most of them had flunked out, and she ended up with the tough cases, mostly smooth oil collies. I asked Bonnie whether she had a dog of her own. Some of the weekend puppy raisers do, and I was curious about how that worked out. No, I love a dog, but we can't have one. My husband's allergic, Bonnie grimaced. What do you do on the weekends? I wanted to know. Bonnie smiled slightly. Oh, he sleeps downstairs on the weekends. The dog, I asked. No, my husband. She stood up and looked at my outback wagon, and then down at Daisy, who was sniffing the ground intensely. Where are you going to put her? I swerved to stare at the car and briefly considered the front seat before quickly abandoning the idea. Sure, Bonnie would approve, but the back seat, I guess. My memory flashed to the image of leaving Jones in the back seat of my car while I ran into the house when I remembered he was behind the wheel looking so confident. When I slid into the passenger seat and said, "Let's go," I wouldn't have been surprised if he turned the key and shifted into gear. Bonnie looked doubtful. Puppies are known to get car sick, she said. You don't have a crate in the car? No. I was beginning to feel ill equipped for this adventure. Well, she's too little to climb over into the back seat, so she'll be safe in the backpack here. Let me help. She took the leash and dog food from my hands and waited. Well, that was nice of her. It was very nice of her. Oh, thanks. I opened up the back hatch. An empty 2-liter soda rolled out and bounced on the ground. Sorry, I blurted, driving for the bottle just as Daisy left for it. I tossed the empty through the hatch and we waited. It watched it sail over the back seat onto the floor. But when I reached for the leash, Bonnie nodded towards a plastic bag bursting with more bottles. You better get those, too. You don't want the puppy chewing on them. There was also a snow brush, a yellow plastic beach shovel. Together they presented damning evidence that at least 3 seasons have passed since I cleaned out my car. The problem with my car is the only time I think of cleaning is when it embarrasses me. And then it's too late. When the back was clear, I lifted Daisy in. Bonnie and I watched her walk around, head down, ears flat forward, tracing a path on the plastic mat with her nose. I lured her away from the hatch with a treat. Before shutting it tight, Daisy stared out as us as Bonnie and I said our goodbyes. My eyes were focused straight ahead. I pulled out of the parking lot, but my attention was behind me. If I were a cat, my ears would have been pointing backwards, listening for a bark, a whine, the sound of a puppy thrown up, but Daisy didn't make a peep. We drove past the decrepit buildings into the main road and up the ramp to the highway, speeding down Interstate 295. Felt like I just pulled off a successful prison break. My emotions veered from elation at having this adorable puppy for an entire weekend to dread that I'd screwed up. I stole a glance in the rearview mirror. Daisy's back was to me. She was sitting perfectly still, staring out at the black window, mesmerized by the highway unrolling behind us. That was a very nice story. This was very nice. I like this lady vlogging her all of these weekends. Maybe this is like vlogging writing. I'm gonna research that. I mean, I that's the way I would identify it. All right. Okay, chapters. This. Okay, that's 4. Oh, okay. This is so 60. Only got 30 pages on the next one. All right. Well, this one is gonna have to be tomorrow because there's like 30 pages up in this one. That's a lot. So Thank you for the good conversation. I really enjoyed hanging with you guys. I'm probably going to come on tomorrow at some point with my book and all my conversation of my social media drama that everybody gets when you're on four different networks. But thank you for listening. I had a really good stream and it's been real. And you guys have a great St. Patrick's Day and be really safe. I don't want anybody getting DUIs out there. And I'm cutting and I'm saying goodbye and safe travel.